This is a 2014 Audi A5. This is the B8.5 generation, and what you see is actually a factory Audi color that is liquid wrapped on the car. This is called Nardo Gray.
What do you mean by liquid wrapped?
So liquid wrap is basically professional grade Plasti-Dip.
Really?
That is correct, yeah. Sprays on like paint, but it comes off like vinyl.
So you had that done. I mean, the car is not this color originally.
That is correct. The car underneath is black.
Wow, no kidding.
Yep.
I would have never guessed that. That's a really, really good job. It's hard to find somebody to do that?
It is. There's no one in the Pittsburgh area here. I actually had to go to Baltimore, Maryland to get it done. The shop that did it was Rogue Enterprises.
Do they take it all apart like you would painting a car?
For the most part, you don't have to fully disassemble because door jambs are not done, engine bays not done. Certain shops will take bumpers off and whatnot, but in this case, they did not disassemble the vehicle.
Is there like a lifespan on that, just like regular paint? But you said it's like an industrial grade Plasti-Dip. Does that mean it lasts longer?
That I don't really. I mean, it's a relatively new product, so I don't really have a shelf life on it per se. But what is cool about this is, like paint, you can actually compound this, polish it, wet sand it, just like paint. You can treat it 100% like paint.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is something you can't do with regular Plasti-Dip.
That is correct. Or
Not
even
even
vinyl
close.
rep. You get a scratch in your vinyl. I mean, you're peeling that panel.
So why this car? Why did you start with this car instead of any other car that you could have started with?
So for me, I've always been a fan of Audi. The biggest thing with this car is the body style. The A5, S5, RS5, the coupe. It's one of Audi's best designs ever, in my opinion.
How long have you had it?
This is 3 years. This is 3 years on the car now, and it's been on air suspension for about 2 now.
And when did you do the Autoflex? Have that done?
Autoflex was done last year, spring of 2019. So this is 1 year on the product now.
Why did you start with an A and not an S or an RS?
Yeah, absolutely.
You kind of made it into an RS.
Absolutely. For me, this was my first car out of college, so it was more of just, what's in my budget, what I felt comfortable with. Like anyone, I would have loved to do the S5 or even the RS5, but this was going to allow me to kind of make it my own. And for me, I knew from the start I'd be putting it on air suspension, so I thought a bit better chopping up an A5 than an S5 or an RS5. As you mentioned, I mean, I've kind of picked and pieced things from each of the, the trim levels.
Where'd you start?
The first thing done was the RS5 grille and an exhaust.
What's on it?
The exhaust setup's actually completely custom. So when I first did it, it was a custom catback section that was done by Misfit Auto Works, and he's based out of Washington.
Different diffuser in the back.
Another tidbit about the car is that's actually an S5 bumper swapped onto the car. So when I originally had the exhaust, it was on the A5, and it was just a dual exit using the convertible diffuser because that allows for dual tips. Since then, it now has the S5 rear bumper. Yeah, it's a hodgepodge of everything. The front bumper is the RS bumper, the rear bumper is the S. So it's definitely a hodgepodge.
What about the side skirts?
The side skirts are pretty much universal. Those are from Carbon Imports, so they're pretty much made for any of the models. After exhaust, I picked up an intake. I started with the K&N intake. That was an open intake. It was, really good bang for your buck, and it was obnoxiously loud, to be honest, being an open intake. From there, I pretty much rode it out. The car at that time was a daily driver. The following year, I did air suspension and wheels.
Is this a car you keep forever and then just add something else to it, or is this something that eventually you may part with?
For me, that's a question I toss around all the time. I'm so far into it at this point. I think about that question. Right now, I'm leaning towards holding on to it. Kind of keep this as the show car, and I've definitely decided for the next build I'd like to, have the go fast car.
This one's the look fast car.
Yes. Yes.
Tell me about the wheels.
Yeah, the wheels are Avant-Garde. Those are 3-piece forged wheels. This is specifically the F111. The faces are brushed matte Grigio. I believe that's the pronunciation on the finish.
We'll go with that.
And then the lips are 4-inch polished.
What's going to be funny is somebody's going to try to correct you in the comments.
We might have to, add a subtitle on that one. I don't know the true pronunciation. It looks like gunmetal to me.
The air system is pretty complicated. Is that pretty much custom, or is that all off-the-shelf parts, or a little bit of both?
That is again, hodgepodge of parts. The system, I was going to say, management is running Airlift 3P. The struts and shocks, those are from Universal Air. It's their Solution series.
Do you see many of them? It's an unusual car to modify. That's why I asked.
So that's, again, it comes back to why I chose this. You see a lot of A4s, S4s in the area. A5 and S5, I mean, in the Pittsburgh area, I really can't think of another one that's on air suspension. And there's really not many that are even modified. Honestly, the most common thing I see even out on the streets is the convertible version of this. The whole goal with this thing has been, to try to keep it relatively OEM spec with everything.
For the uninitiated who are not Audi fans, what about the A5 struck you or surprised you when you got this car that you didn't expect out of it?
There were two big things that actually two of them are kind of cons to the car. The car uses frameless windows, which have been a pain. The window regulators have not been friendly. The car's been in for service on those multiple times. And the second one is something interesting is this is a 6-speed manual. And with the 6-speed manual car versus the automatic supports E85 from factory due to the intake manifold and injectors and whatnot. The manual does not. When stock, that doesn't really matter too much, but once you tune it, you can't easily take advantage of that E85.
So under the hood, tell me about the tunes.
So the two that were pretty much the contenders for me were APR and integrated engineering. I ended up going with integrated engineering. What's interesting with integrated engineering is they actually send you the cable and everything to connect to your OBD port, and you are able to flash it with your laptop yourself. You just hook up a battery trickle charger to it and off you go. It's the stage 2 tune then. This isn't an off-the-shelf map at the end of the day. It's not a custom pro tune or anything.
Do you have any idea what you're pushing horsepower wise?
About 305 horsepower and then about 350 foot-pound of torque. The brakes are actually stock size rotors and calipers. Those are R1 Concepts. Those are the E-line rotors. For me, sticking to the stock brake size, it actually allowed me to get a bigger lip size on the wheels. If I went to a big brake kit, I would have had to go to a significantly smaller lip size or a less concave wheel. I wanted to keep it at a functional ride height that I can drive the car. I'm not railing turns with it because the tires, I do have a bit of stretch on there. So at the end of the day, it's a nice drivable ride height. At my normal ride height, I have full steering lock.
How many miles are on it?
77,000 on this car.
So you've driven it.
It's definitely been driven. At the end of the day, my personal interest is the blend of luxury and performance.